Hello friends, we are going to look at the island of Trinidad, the southern part of this island, in a place called, depending on how you refer to it, Siparia or Siparia. I'm going to call it Siparia for the purpose of this video. Let me know how you call it in the comments area. This is the place that we're going to visit, Siparia Proper. Not the whole of it. Siparia is actually a very big place in the south. Even Siparia Proper is fairly big to cover. So I'm going to be mostly walking up and down the main road, which is the SS Erin Road. And this is the road here. This is what they would call deep south. But you wouldn't think so because it's more or less modernized and populated. Lots of infrastructure and so forth. Nevertheless, the walk is not long because Siparia itself, Siparia proper, is not that big. So in this video I'm going to walk among the more populous areas, the busy areas, so you can have a look at what Siparia is like today. As with other videos, because the last video I made was the walkthrough of Penal, and if you haven't seen that, make sure to look for it, because in that video I mentioned, and as in other videos, I'm not a historian. This is just the layman's view of life, real life. So if you see anything that you think I need to mention, make sure to put it in the timeline where in the video you're talking about, and feel free to pinpoint any video, any place that you think needs emphasis or so forth. Now the advantage of having this view is that I'm using equipment that allows you to get a view that you may not otherwise see from just simply walking, as well as I'm using a camera that picks up more or less everything within a common view in as high a resolution as possible. I'm actually recording in 5.3K, but YouTube downsizes that to 4K. I believe YouTube actually went up to 8K and even 16K at one time, but did away with that. I don't know if they will ever bring it back, but I still record at a high resolution just in case. Now going up this road, you can see that they're all the typical business places that you would expect in any populated area. What stands out to me right off the bat, the streets are very clean, but the pavement sidewalks are in definite need of upgrading. I mean, these are not differently able friendly at all. A lot of these posts are right in the middle of the sidewalk, which shouldn't be, and some of it is broken up, or somebody using a wheelchair or whatever would find it really hard to pass it. They would actually have to go on the road. These are some of these side streets going away from the main road, but I'm not able to go down and down. As an example, look at this part here. You have the dumpster, and there's no gradient to go up here, and then this part here looks too narrow for a wheelchair, so they probably would have to go to the other side, but the other side is not that great either, and this is going up an incline, so it would be difficult. The other interesting thing about Siparia is that it keeps some of its buildings functional despite the age. Now this is the courthouse, which looks like a fairly old building, and next to it is an even older building that we will get to just now that in my mind really needs to be preserved in some way. It's actually attached to the courthouse. That's the post office, or what used to be the post office. Buildings like this you just don't see much anymore. They're kind of fading away in the past, and they definitely need to be preserved. But it's good that at least the grounds and stuff are being maintained. You can see how all the streets are clean. That's really nice. And if you think that's something, and this might sound funny, but it's not funny when you need to use it. Even the restroom facilities, the public restroom facilities that you'll see later in this video was more or less immaculate. And you might think, well, so what's the big deal about that? Well, considering how a lot of places I visit in Trinidad are unkept, dirty, full of trash. I mean, you could just the capital city alone, Port of Spain, is like a dump. Sorry to say. You go in there and smelly. There's trash everywhere, vagrant stuff. I didn't see any of that here. It's all clean and maintained. So hats off to whomever is doing that for down here. Now this is a sporting complex, and you can see who was instrumental in it being here. This is the part of the constituency of the Honorable and former Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissessar, who is also a native of Siparia. She was born here, went to Britain to study, lived in Jamaica for quite a while, returned and made many historical firsts. Now this is the restroom. Look how it looks. When last you saw a restroom looking like that? Now I did observe that that stadium or that facility there needed some upgrading. It looks like, I mean, while it is clean, the grass is cut and stuff, it looks like it needs maintenance. When I go closer, you'll see. This is a statue, and I believe maybe there's supposed to be something he's holding in his hand. It's connected with those that were associated with Pan, I believe. And I believe whatever tools he was using there, maybe tools to tune or whatever, is missing. I don't know what's the cause of that. Anyone knows, they can tell me in the comments area. However, look at this. This is a nice facility, but you could see where the sand is taking over the grass. Now this area is actually known for the sand. And later in another trip, another video, I'll make a road trip of deep south, and I will pass through a place called Buenos Aires actually. And there's a bird nest, by the way, hanging there, hanging bird nest. And there was a big sand pits. I don't know what is the topography or any of the insight into the earth. I'm not a geologist, but if any of you can tell me about the area, there are natural sand deposits everywhere. This seems to have sand. Now look at this area here. See, again, clean. You could come here and sit down, relax, whatever have you. And you can hear the birds. I try to keep background sounds as much as possible while trying to dampen all the cars and stuff passing by. I noticed that these police buildings stand out a lot. Very close together. Despite that, Siparia does have some incidences of crime. I was reading a lot about the secondary school here. I believe it's Siparia West Secondary. A lot of criminal elements trying to wiggle their way among the student population there, and the police had to get involved and stuff. And there have been incidents of serious crimes committed by people in the area. So those things are to be watched. Despite that, I did not feel in any way like my life was in danger or unsafe or anything like that while I was in Siparia. In fact, I wouldn't have even believed that crime happened here because everything seemed to be so chill, quiet, peaceful, as you can see. Now, maybe that might have to do with the day I visited. This is a weekend, a Saturday, and you know, people just seem mellow and whatnot. I don't know if that's the normal way of Siparia, but again, I didn't feel like, you know, my life was in jeopardy, nothing like that. So it seems relatively safe. If you want to come and visit, of course, schools are on vacation now, and that's actually an ideal time for me because when schools are in operation, there's always a concern for me picking up kids and all that type of thing. I always try to avoid that. So knowing that I don't have to worry about it is good. You see that big truck there is carrying logs, lumber, on its way to be chopped, I guess. On the left, we're passing a health facility. A lot of these offshoot roads, of course, will take you into other parts of Siparia, which I'm not doing in this video. I'm staying just on the main road. It's a Hindu temple on the left there. I was reading about a case where there was some desecration of a Hindu temple in here. I don't know if it's this one or another one. Anyone familiar with that case can let me know, but I don't know what's going on. These colorful flags are part of the Hindu tradition. They have symbolic representations. This is another church that also has some historical significance. I'll try to cross the road just now and give you a better angle shot on that. Now I could have kept walking down or up this road, going and going and going, but the more remarkable parts are going away from me because really I'm about recording Siparia Proper and not the whole of the strip. In fact, you will see a much longer video, look out for it, of a drive all through these roads in deep south. So you'll pick up more of that when I get a chance to upload it. Now you can see there's a fairly modern roof, but the walls and stuff look aged. While I could tackle trying to go in these places, you know, it would take a lot of immense amount of time contacting people, getting permission and whatnot, which I don't have time for, because sometimes I don't even know when I would come on some of these road trips. So sometimes things are done so spontaneously, like if I saw somebody I would ask them, but in this case today I didn't see anybody around. So that's the church we passed, the Anglican church, and this is the school. Usually in Trinidad, wherever there's a church, there's a school next to it. Usually the church kind of, in a way, sponsors the school. We have something here called the Concord Act, I believe, that gives some fairly significant powers to religious organizations to run and manage schools, public schools even. Now I just stopped here because I like to see these kind of projects. This is a primary school that is involved in planting different things. Like this is the eggplant, and you can see the little placards that they place there, the different things, and it looks nice. I always like to see when school children are involved in things that, you know, mean something significant to them in life. I'm sure if I went down those roads, I would find things that are very interesting. But again, I don't have time for all of that. Now I found this statue on the left here, very interesting. I was looking at it and at first it almost looked to me like something I would see in the Wild Wild West. You can look and see the little history on it. And I put some information on that for you right there. And that's one of the advantages of using an extension. You can get a better look at the statue because this statue is quite tall. You can see the guy there in the background as a relative measure of how tall it is. I believe where I'm pointing down to would be the southern coast. There's beaches down there, but I would have to, it looks close but it's not. I'll still have to drive a good ways to get there. Now some of you have been commenting and asking me both privately and in the comments on my videos about how you know so much about Trinidad and stuff, and if you give tours and different things. Well, first of all, I don't really know so much about Trinidad. I just look at a map, and to me there should be a better mapping system for Trinidad. I kind of have to rely on Google. In the old days, they used to sell these big maps of Trinidad with a lot of these streets, but I don't know if they still do that. It's not commonplace, and you should be able to have access to that right away. I think more people need things like that, but in any case, I use Google and I look at different areas, look at it in relation to roads that I know, and I come. And once I go to an area, I know it. So, I mean, I could drive back here no problem without having to look at a map. And that skill I learned from my time in England and Wales as a missionary. We used to cover a lot of vast areas, and lots of the time we did not know the area. So what we would do is one person would drive and the other person would navigate by using the map. There was a mapping system, a book in Britain called the A to Z. I don't know if they still use it, but that mapped out every single street name, and you could look it up in an index format and find where you were going. And sometimes, you know, if we weren't driving, if we didn't have a car available, and let's say we were on the bus system, while the bus was passing streets, we didn't know where we were going, but we would know where we were through the map system. And anytime we saw the bus was close to where we wanted to go, we would stop it based on a map. And that's how I learned how to follow maps. As far as giving tours, really this channel is about my special needs children, or children with special needs, if you want to be politically correct for some people. And I don't have the availability or the access to give tours to people, because that would mean leaving my children and they need my attention. So I don't give tours. This is my tour for you, my videos. This is the public facilities. This is the restroom, and it was really clean and nice. You could see the surroundings, the brickwork on the bottom to walk, plants and stuff. I mean, it could spruce up a little bit, but to me that was really nice when I went in there. Nothing like that exists in the north, and that's the capital city. That's a shame. And I think up there too you have to pay a couple dollars to enter, and I don't really see anybody using it. Look at that, that was open, nobody was there watching it, and it was clean and maintained. People seem to have a better sense of responsibility down here than up north. That's the Siparia police station, still using a colonial style building. Looks like they may need to upgrade that. It's a taxi stand there. You can see how I'm descending. Where we went to where the stadium was and I kind of turned around was the high point of this hill, if you want to call it that. The elevated land. And where I started from is a decline. As the post office we passed earlier, you could get a better view. Always walking on the other side gives you a better view than when you're right next to it. By the way, some of you have been kind enough to donate, and those of you who know you are, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate any donations, no matter how small or big they may be. They go towards the efforts that I make in creating these videos and for helping my children, and for that I'm very grateful to you. Thank you so much. For those of you who can't monetarily support the work that I do, no problem. Feel free to like, share, comment. All those things help push my videos and my channel forward. If you haven't subscribed before, make sure to subscribe. It's free. Now, you know, a lot of trainees suddenly discover my channel and they will go on and on about Trinidad. But please note that on JB's Man Cave, I don't only cover Trinidad. While I might have a lot of video and content on Trinidad, it's just one part of what I cover. I cover a lot of other countries and a lot of other topics. For instance, sometimes you might see a lot of videos created on the EPL, the English Premier League, which is going on now, and I might have videos prompting people to make predictions on various upcoming matches. So if you like football, soccer, whatever you call it, you can make predictions on my channel of upcoming matches. For instance, Manchester United, or Man United for short, might be playing Liverpool, and you could come to a video and make your prediction of what the end score will be like. So I also cover other stuff. So this area here right now in Siparia is, you can see how it's starting to get busy, more people walking up and down. This is more like the heart of where everything is. The food places, the shopping and whatnot. This is probably the busiest part of it all. And I believe my son wanted to get something here, so I kind of had to pause here and back on again now that he's taken care of. Somebody was telling me recently that I need assistance when I walk around, to handle people, talk to people on my behalf and stuff. Well, one of my sons loves to follow me around, so I carry him. He's my assistant. And I do need to start working with flyers or whatever to go out, because a lot of people will stop and talk to me or ask me what I'm doing and stuff. And I need to be able to just hand them something quickly. Sometimes if I say, okay, go and check JB's bank, if they're already confused, like, what? JB what? Man what? I don't hear people using the term man cave in Trinidad too much. So that could be one instance of not really understanding what I'm talking about. So we're going down here, and while I cover this area, we're going to pass on the other side, go down a little bit more to see what's more to Siparia. You know, you see where that sign, I'm going to come back to it, just giving you a little view of where I came from. This is again the SS Erin Rd. You could see that sign on the left, it says Siparia Road to Faizabad. So if you took that road there on the right, that would take you to Faizabad. Now, it's not that the road actually goes directly to Faizabad, but you would take that road and then you would have to turn left and then go to Faizabad. And guess what? I did pick that up in my drive-through video of Deep South. So you also have Faizabad to look forward to. As you could well imagine, that is an immense video, lots of roads to cover, so I'm trying to get some of these walkthrough videos out first before I start showing these longer drive-throughs, which take a lot more doing because they're a lot longer. Now this part on the right here is like a car park, but they do have places for food stalls and stuff. These guys were asking me what the heck you doing? So I explained to them.
You can check me on YouTube. Check me on YouTube. Baby Market.
And I believe my son went to put his food down or something like that, so I just stood here and gave you a shot of Siparia. Now, if this is your first video on Trinidad, like you're watching from abroad or whatever, this is what island life is like here. I know it's not what you might be thinking the Caribbean is like, because you may be accustomed to being shown coconut trees, beaches and beach huts with lovely ladies, you know, wearing a beach towel and their bathing suit and walking on the beach. Well, there are places in the Caribbean for that, but that is a very, very small percentage of what Trinidad is about. Some beaches are even hard to access in Trinidad. Here's a truck coming with its logs. That's a really nice shot there. For those of you who like trucking, on my channel I have a lot of trucking fans, and I even show sometimes how to fix my own truck. So JB's Man Cave covers a lot of things. So anyway, so if you were thinking, well, this is what Caribbean life is like, yes, this is a typical Caribbean town in Trinidad. This is what you would see. So there's not even coconut trees in sight. There's no beaches at every turn or anything like that. This is what most people experience in their day-to-day life in a Caribbean country. So now you see what it's really like. And then as you can see, some of these areas are very hilly. And so that's why, you know, the road itself is built on the peak or the plateau of the hill, and so it looks like if all the houses are built in like valleys. That's how most of the south is. Now I could go further that way, but you would just see more of the same. I want to stay closer to the main center of Siparia, and then right now we're going to head towards the market. And the market itself is set on a hill. That's it on the right there. And again, even in the market, wow, it was really clean and nice. I mean, everything is in tip-top shape. I don't know if people knew I was coming today and they ran and cleaned it up or what. But I was surprised to see how everything was clean and maintained, and no trash and people all around liming or whatever. It was all in good order. Now a lot of you might say, oh, you should record all of the market. Well, you know, not really, because while it's a public area, I don't like intruding on people. And I know some people will do that without asking and stuff, but I try not to do that. I'm showing you some of the goods and stuff. There aren't many people in the market right now. Probably they were here early in the morning. By the time I got here, just had a few vendors. And you can see my hand there. I am actually getting some veggies. Those are some cucumbers. I'm gonna speed this up. That's Corelli in the bottom there, in case you didn't know. Cabbage, tomatoes, carrots. And now we exit the market. Make sure to subscribe, it's free again. Let your friends know, let your family know. Those of you who can contribute again, you can always go to jbmancave.com or jboard.com and make a donation there. There are buttons on YouTube for you to do that as well, but YouTube takes a huge chunk of it. But if that's more convenient for you, feel free to use it, no problem. And if you can't monetarily contribute, again, just like, comment, let your friends know about JB Man Cave, ask them to come and subscribe, it's free. Thanks so much for watching.